All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while. Last video I made was back in May when my buddy's gun blew up. But today we're out doing some tree stand prep. Got a stand here, got my saddle, sticks, chainsaw, miscellaneous camera gear. But today we're just gonna do some maintenance on the property, on the farm, as everybody seems to call their deer hunting properties. So anyway, we're up here on the farm and I got this cornfield out here that they just planted like, I don't know, a week ago maybe. I've got a trail camera set up right here overlooking it. There's been a ton of deer activity. I think just because it's brand new, they're just curious coming and checking it out. But this is gonna be a killer spot come October, November, when the bucks are cruising. It's gonna be an awesome spot for them to check out because the does are gonna be feeding here. So I'm gonna run out right now, pull the SD card out of this camera, and I'm gonna walk down this edge and hang a stand somewhere, because there's predominantly a west wind on this property, but every once in a while you'll get one that's blowing out of the east. So this stand I won't be able to hunt all the time because I've got to have an east wind or a northeast wind to hunt this stand. So we're gonna slap it up anyway because it's gonna be in a good spot. I'm gonna see if I can find a deer trail, and we're just gonna get after it. All right, it took me a whole 2 minutes to find the tree that I want to get in. I'm gonna try to get my stand right up towards that Y. It'll be right about 20 feet. But I've got this big gap here that I can shoot through. I'm gonna come in and just trim a couple of these limbs later on. I didn't bring the pole saw with me because I'm a dingus. But I'm gonna hang the stand facing out. I'm gonna put my sticks on this side of the tree so that I can access through here. Because once this corn gets standing, I found a lot, like last year, the deer will just bed out in the corn. And they'll just stay there until it gets almost dark, and then they'll get up, and then you'll see the tops of the corn stalks moving, really. And then you know there's deer out front. But at this point, I'm just rambling, so I'm gonna get the drone up. I'm gonna start putting up this tree stand. All right, there you have it. That's my technique for hanging a stand. I didn't get as high as I wanted to, but I'm still probably 15, 16 feet up there. I use my tether. I don't use my tether until I get on the second step. Then I throw the tether around me. Hang on, I gotta throw this or else he's gonna keep on barking. I don't hook my tether up until I'm on the second step here. And then from there on up, I'm completely connected to the tree. There's no way that I can fall. Even if a step gave out, my own body weight would catch me and keep me secure. Even when I'm up there, you saw me, I threw up my actual lineman's rope. Well, which would be my tether. I used my lineman's rope to get up there, and I used my actual tether when I got up there so that I could be in a sitting position and I could rest that stand on my knee while I got all the straps around it. I put up 2 straps around the tree just to make sure that stand was secure, because this stand is kind of goofy. I noticed last year I just used 1 strap on my 1 permission property, and on a windy day you really felt it. So used 2 straps this time. And I never was a really huge safety guy when it came to hunting. Like, I'll admit it, I hunted in stands before where I wouldn't wear a harness. You know, I'd climb a tree and not worry about it. But a few years ago, we had a good friend of ours who fell out of his tree stand. I don't know the exact details of it. I think he was going from the step onto the actual stand, and he fell, and it actually messed him up pretty bad. He's okay now, thankfully, but that really opened my eyes. Like, holy crap. You got to really watch what you're doing out here, because just like that, you can be on the ground, which is not where you want to be. So that stand is hung. I'm going to drop a pin on the map so that I can find it in the dark. I don't think I really need to cut any trails through here to get here. It's pretty wide open. I'll just be parking probably 300 yards that way, and then just walking up the edge of that other field and then cutting in. But let's walk out into the actual cornfield and see what the deer will see. That's cut. I mean, that is pretty hidden, walking up through there. So yeah, I'm gonna have 1 major shooting lane right here out front, and I'm gonna cut another one so I can shoot that way. I don't think I'll be shooting behind me that much. It'll mainly just be deer coming up and down the edge. All right, so got our stand hung. I'm saving my other hang-ons for permission pieces. So now we get to go have some fun with the chainsaw, go cut some trails so that we can access a place where I want to hang a stand. Maybe later today, maybe later on, I don't know. It's starting to get hot, but let's do it. Everything that we do now is one thing that you don't have to do and don't have to worry about as season gets closer. So let's get on with it. There you go. Hold this. Okay. So now I'm down here in the woods. Did a lot of hunting on this side hill this year. Saw a lot of deer traffic. But out here is where the main deer traffic is. It's just a big bowl that funnels down. And then there's some ag fields over here that the deer like to feed up into. So what I want to do is cut a trail through all this thick stuff. You can see out there, it just gets super thick, monofloral rose, all sorts of stuff. So I brought the nippers for the monofloral rose, and there's a bunch of trees on the ground. So I brought the electric chainsaw with me. I'm just gonna walk out this edge on this ridge here, and then just cut a trail wide enough that we can drag a deer through if we have to, because I want to put a stand down in that bottom. And it should be a money rut spot for sure. Not quite sure about early season. Haven't done a ton of early season hunting in this particular location. Usually I wait until bucks are cruising before I hunt down in here, but this will be the first time I've ever actually had a stand here because it's just so hard to get to. And I was down in here in turkey season, and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna cut a trail and we can get exactly to the stand. Enough of me yapping, let's get to cutting and then go find a tree that we wanna hang a stand in. All right, well, I almost got done here. I ran out of battery in the chainsaw. Should have brought a gas powered one with me, but no big deal. I got the main stuff that I wanted to get done finished. So now this trail, and I'll show you when I walk back out to the side-by-side, weaves through all this thick stuff that you couldn't even get through before. And I even cut out a bunch of stuff on the ground like that there that you could go over, but it'd just be a pain in the butt. And then I wanted to cut this out, and the chainsaw died. So really from here on out, it's pretty open. You can kind of make your way. I'll probably just bring the weed eater down in here later on and cut out some of that thick stuff down there. But as far as today goes, got a bunch done in prep for deer season. So I'm gonna call it good. I'm gonna go home, probably eat some lunch. I haven't eaten today. It's like 1 o'clock, so go get a little bit of food in me and probably edit this video and post it for you guys. I mean, not super entertaining or exciting, but it's what I do during the summer. This is my process. It's worked. It's been proven that it works. So this is more for education, I guess. So that's like one thing I wanted to cover in this video. If you just have a super thick area of woods where you know that there's deer, they're bedding in there, but you can't really touch it. Like, you can hunt the outskirts of it or whatever, but most of the time when you're hunting the outskirts of these bedding areas, I've found in my experience, I guess is what I should say, is by the time the deer are coming out of that core thick stuff, it's already too dark to shoot. And when you get down out of the stand, you're spooking deer. So what I've done here, and what I did last year, if you guys remember that video, I've taken a super thick area that these deer are bedding in. During these summer months, I'm not too worried about spooking deer. You know, it's whatever. They'll get over it. I'll walk right through the middle of these thick patches here, and I'll cut a trail. So that allows me to get through it quietly, and it gives something for the deer to walk on. But these areas, they're so thick that the deer will thank you that you've cut a trail. For a little while, they might be leery of it, but once they realize that it's safe, they can walk on it. You'd be surprised how many deer actually use the trail that you've cut. And then when I want to hunt it, I've got a nice trail to come right down. I can get into the stand quiet, slip in like midday or something during the rut. I really don't hunt these areas early in the season. I might try the outskirts a little bit here and there just to see what's going on, but I won't come into the core of the bedding area until it's just prime and ready to rock and roll. And even then, you're gonna spook deer. You're gonna spook deer. That's something that you just gotta get over in your mind. It's a hurdle. Once you get over that hurdle, really, you realize it's not that big of a deal. I'm gonna bounce out of here, I'm gonna round the dog up, and I'm gonna go home.